Today's podcast is brought to you by The Juke Gaming, Buy, Sell, Trade, and Repair, and The Ripper the Clown Show on YouTube, an unpredictable comic book character come to life. Welcome back to the Frustrated the Wrestling Podcast. I am Shithead Dave.
And I am Dr. Nick. And before we get into this, I wanted to do a little tech review on my coffee cup here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is the new S5 coffee cup.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's cool. It's got a handle that you can drink with. And also, if you put ice in it, it will stay cool for up to 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's actually a step up from the S4 coffee cup.
Well,
because
they say every 6 months technology advances.
Yeah, the S4 coffee cup I didn't really like. This one I don't like too much because the volume button, you can't really reach it. You know what's really cool? Now that we can move into the podcast, I'm going on vacation next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm going to bring my laptop with wrestling on it.
Uh-huh.
Because, fuck, actually enjoying my vacation and going outside or anything.
Yeah, are you going to Florida?
Yeah.
That place is a wasteland.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, I have to.
Good thing you are bringing that because it's
I wouldn't want to go
there.
I wouldn't want to go to the beach or anything.
No, it's fucking ugly there.
But today we're going to talk about the big news. I'm sure everybody out there may or may not know about it. Jeff Jarrett has negotiated a deal with New Japan.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've talked about Global Force Wrestling because they're still in the talent search. I mean, I'm glad they're not shotgunning this thing.
Yeah.
And just, here you go. But yeah, the newest acquisition is New Japan Pro Wrestling. And it's a great thing to know because we've seen all these behind the scenes videos on the Global Force YouTube channel of him working with Scott D'Amore, who everybody knows from Team Canada, from TNA.
Right.
So he has a lot of Canadian talent going to be in this Fed, obviously. And now he's going to have a lot of Japanese talent.
Plus his also existing deal with AAA.
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting because I don't know how many people out there know about New Japan. I'm not an expert on New Japan, but I know New Japan had a deal with WCW back in the day. They had sort of a deal with WWF.
Yeah.
They've always done a lot of talent swapping.
Yes.
As we all know from all the documentaries we've seen, people, when they first got in the business, that's what they did. They went to Japan, they went to Europe, they went to these other countries. Then they came back, and they had a name for themselves.
A lot of guys actually prefer going to Japan because it's a very well-respected place to wrestle.
Well, not only that, but I heard you can make a lot of money there.
You can, yeah.
Because I've watched some of the shows online, I've been able to find a lot of promotions over in Japan. Even though their crowds are very respectful and very reserved, they treat their wrestlers like athletes.
Yes, they do.
It's a very organized...
a sport.
Yes.
It's actually one of Japan's biggest sports, if not the biggest.
Yep, besides like sumo.
They play baseball, I know that.
Oh, baseball's huge over there.
And wrestling are huge.
Yeah.
I would rather work in Japan than I would Mexico because you hear horror stories.
People getting stabbed in the locker room.
Stabbed and stiffed
on pay.
Yeah, and that's where Bruiser Brody.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't. Not in Mexico.
That was
in the Caribbean, was it?
I think so. I can't remember exactly.
But down in Central America is a very hard place to work.
Yeah, drug lords.
They treat you like a
garbage.
tourist. Yeah.
And of course, we've over the years, there's been a lot of very noteworthy, famous people that have come from Japan. What do you think this is going to do? Is this going to open up the market for Global Force to be known internationally?
Definitely. It's to me, it's not even going to be a Global Force versus E thing anymore.
It's going to be their own entity.
It's going to, especially if they get on network TV, it's going to be like, wow, this is soap opera over here. This is kids.
Yep.
This is kindergarten over here.
Yep.
And Global Force is like, wow, this is something to watch.
This is something like you'd see replayed on like ESPN Sports.
Yeah.
They would do like a highlight, like, "Hey, John, did you see that show last night, Global Force?
Yeah.
Hey, let's play that clip." Because have you ever seen a clip of WWE on ESPN?
No.
They're not going to go, "Look at that power bomb."
Yeah, and they put AWA on ESPN after a while, so they respect sport, and I think that's what Jeff Jarrett is going for because I'm a wrestling fan, and he says this promotion's for the wrestling fan. So if fans are asking for similar things that I am, I'm asking for more sport, instead of who slept with who and and dancing funkadactyls and stuff like that.
I think what Jeff Jarrett is trying to basically say to everybody out there, whatever he was trying to do with TNA, it worked.
Yeah.
And then obviously after a while he had to step away. We all know what happened there. But with the society the way it is, like you said, you have one side that is catered to 14 and under, the kids and the teens and stuff like that, and then you have the 18 to 30 and 40. Our demographic is not there, so we're forced to, thank God, get on the network and watch old stuff.
Oh yeah, and there's a whole bunch of fans that feel just completely robbed.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and I hope that Global Force gives us what we want, but also not just sports. I do like a lot of the elements that WWF did give us, the drama and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can still have the dramatic storylines, but still have legitimate athleticism.
Yeah.
Because what Jarrett is going to do, and has obviously already displayed, he's not going for the guys that are, hey, let's pick up this guy because he's really popular.
Yeah.
He's going from promotion to promotion. He's picking up guys that the E hasn't even looked at.
Yeah, new guys, too. He's not going after, he's not going to Canada to look for the Lance Storms. He's not going to AAA to look for the Jushin Thunder Ligers again.
Yeah.
He's going to look for the new Jushin Thunder Ligers.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He may have some people that are recognizable, because like he said when those releases came out, the talent pool just got bigger.
I just noticed that I said Jushin Thunder Liger was from Mexico. He's Japanese, but I mean the La Parkas.
Yes.
Actually, I'm very happy about the New Japan deal because a lot of my favorite wrestlers from past promotions like ECW are Japanese, like Masato Tanaka's.
Yep.
And a lot of guys really crafted their styles in Japan. Like Mike Awesome was, I forgot his name, Giant something.
Please don't say Giant Baba. That guy's a fucking jackass.
No, a lot of guys were crafted into the wrestlers they are today and were in their careers because of Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Jericho was in Japan. Mick Foley, of course.
Yeah. And
Terry Funk.
A great way to tell, well, it used to be, to tell a Japanese wrestler, but now everybody does it because everybody's a mark.
Mm-hmm.
Kick pads.
Yep.
Those started in Japan, and I remember seeing something with RVD, I think it was on his DVD. He says, to tell a guy that's been in Japan, you look at his kick pads. Jericho had them, Lance Storm had them.
Yeah, because you didn't see him on just the guys that were strictly in America.
Yeah, look at all the lucha guys. I mean, it was
unheard of. It was just kind of weird.
Yeah, so those kick pads, the martial artists, that is Japanese style.
And you got to think of it this way, like, everybody is, salivating. Oh, what's this going to be? What's this going to be?
Yeah.
Jarrett's doing it the right way. He's going about it in a way that's slow and steady. He's making the deals.
Yeah.
And when it finally debuts, I guarantee that it's going to be a huge shock to the entire world of sports in general. And that basically leads into our second topic. Do you think that they're going to take ideas from past experiences? For instance, is he going to take parts of stuff that he did in TNA, parts of stuff he did in WCW? Is he going to take his own experiences and things that he's learned, what works, what doesn't?
It's very hard to tell because all the elements that I loved of TNA, those factors were because they were limited. Like, I love the idea of putting the name bars at the bottom with the time limit and stuff, but they only did that because they only were granted 30 minutes on Fox Sportsnet when they got a television deal. So I don't think you're going to have the element of like a UFC fight where you get all the stats on the top of the screen. But it would be cool.
Yeah.
I wish that he would treat it more like that.
Like, I'd love to see that, such and such name from this place.
Yeah.
He weighs in this much, and his opponent weighs this much. Like on the UFC, they do the reach, their reach, their weight.
The tail of tapes.
Yeah, that right there is interesting to me because it's like,
too.
Oh, okay, this guy's from British Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
He weighs 362 pounds. He's got this kind of reach, whatever.
Yeah. Everybody loves the boxing intros.
Oh, yeah.
When wrestling does that every once in a while.
Yeah.
I'd love it for every main event.
Me too.
I think it
adds a lot to it.
Yeah, because I'm a big fan of heavyweight boxing.
Me too.
And now I have to go to the UFC because it's pretty much not.
Well, I was a fan of the boxing in the 90s.
Yeah.
Now it's just.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah. The Vander Holyfields, the Mike Tysons, a lot of that era.
Now it's overseas.
When Don King was the king of boxing.
Yeah.
When boxing was like the thing.
I think Jeff Jarrett has a lot of weight on his shoulders because, every time a new Fed comes out, the true wrestling fans, saying, you better make this what we want.
You better deliver.
Yeah, you better deliver. And
don't be a slapnuts.
Yeah. I think he's going to, though. From what I see, it just feels right. It looks right. Yeah. He's making the right deals with the right promotions.
Yeah.
And talking with the right people.
Plus, I notice he has a very good taste in food.
Yeah, all his Instagrams.
I seen an Instagram the other day. He was grilling out fish.
Yep.
And I was like, I want to go hang out with the Jarretts.
Yeah, he lives the life. He's going to have a long climb because he wants to get these guys that no one's seen before. But when you really break it down, they're guys no one's seen before. You can relate to your Cenas and your Wyatts. When you go over here, it's like watching ROH. Mm-hmm. It looks cool, it feels cool, but I don't know these guys. I can't connect with them yet. And wrestling's all about connecting. It's not like UFC where you watch it and whoever's getting the shit kicked out of them, you're booing them and loving the dude who's beating up on them. Mm-hmm. It's not like that with wrestling. It's a dance.
Yeah, they pick a guy and they go with it. That's how it goes. But.
So they're going to have a rocky start, definitely. I mean, he can bring all the fancy lighting and all he wants, but he's going to have to bring some names in there. Mm-hmm. He's going to have to do it because WCW would have not gotten as big as it was with Harlem Heat and Glacier. So.
They had to bring in Rodman to be that, because he was part of that 90s culture.
Yeah,
you got to do that type of thing.
I don't know exactly when Dixie took over, but I know for a fact that I used to love TNA and then all of a sudden I hated it. So I want to see what Jarrett can do when he 100% owns a company, and I just want to see the stuff he brings to the table.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed our podcast. I got to go out and buy some more T-shirts and send Instagram posts for everybody to see.
All right, and I got to go come up with more inside jokes. See ya.